Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 44 of Nuts and Bolts, Geekenstein's official podcast. I'm your host, David Reinhardt, and this week I'm joined here by Jared Brazil,
Hey,
Dustin Triplett,
Sup?
and Alex Santamaria.
I'm not sneaking in like a thief of the night this time.
Nope.
I'm just here all the time. It's great.
And this week we are going into the cult, delving into the world of cult classics. Why is Keyboard Cat on the list of cult classics?
I don't know.
I put the second part. I'm pretty sure Dustin put the first part. I put the saddest part.
Well, it is a cult classic.
It is not a cult classic. Everyone loves Keyboard Cat, and everyone knows what Keyboard Cat is.
I prefer Spaghetti
has
Cat.
36 million views. 36 million. He has 9,700 dislikes. Who dislikes Keyboard Cat? Asshole.
Everything-
I don't know.
Spammers,
Popular.
apparently.
Everyone dislikes popular things.
The same
There's
people
200
who send rape threats across the internet.
Which is why it's not a cult thing. Like, it was on commercials and shit. Right?
Keyboard
Anyway,
Cat did the
we don't need to
halftime
discuss-
show for the Puppy Bowl, man.
We don't need to discuss the Keyboard Cat. Let's talk about actual cult classic movies.
Okay, so
And
we,
now
we
this is
have
where
one.
David inserts a horror movie. Which
No.
horror movie
We
is gonna be?
if we're gonna talk about cult classics, we have to get one right off the bat and talk about it and get it over with. And that is, of course, the cult classic movie, The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I still haven't seen it.
You haven't seen The Rocky Horror Picture, really?
No, I dated someone and had friends with people who do those fucking shadow casts where their lives just pretty much revolves around dressing up like the characters and then dancing, and it just made me want to kill myself because it was
Yeah.
like worse than My Little Pony cosplay. So
I know what you...
yeah.
There was a troupe that I went to a game... I ran, like, a game thing at a show at the college one time, and there was a troupe that was doing something like that, and it was just awful. I just led, like, a group of people just shaking our heads as we left the door.
I will.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been to a couple of the live performances, and I have been unimpressed by every single one I've been to. I like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's not a great movie, but it's what I would it's a fun parody of like old sci-fi and horror movies mashed together, but in a rock opera, and it's fun. It doesn't really make any sense, and
Yeah.
I mean, it really is a lot. It's all of the weird sci-fi alien experiment shit, and then like capturing everything what horror movies were about, like especially vampires and shit, with all the repressed sexuality and all that to make a very funny movie that I like. If you don't like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, I 100% understand. Though,
It came out in the 70s, right?
yes.
I feel like I understand why it was a big deal then, but I also feel like I don't really need to know what it is now. Like, I know what it is, but I don't need to watch it.
I would
No
rather
big
see
deal.
a live performance of Zoolander.
That would be
that
so
would be
better.
entertaining. Yes.
That would be like...
Let's choose awesome movies to do
No, but see-
performances of.
No.
Let's just fucking do Zoolander, and we'll fucking create a catwalk. It'll be fucking
No, see,
fantastic.
The
You don't
problem
need to
is
see this Rocky Horror Picture thing
the
anymore.
problem is I've seen a live performance of the Rocky Horror, well, an abridged one, because they do a live performance at Halloween Horror Nights every couple of years, and it's great. What's fucking stupid is the miming when they're playing the movie in the background and they're just miming them. That's what's stupid.
Yeah. That's what...
that I don't get.
Well,
I'm
that's what
totally fine if you
the
want to do a
shadow
live
cast-
performance of a fucking weird movie. That sounds really interesting to me, but no, the miming I don't understand.
I think
We have
that's
a
what
group
makes the
here
shadow
that
cast.
does. We have a group here that does Rocky Horror, but they also do other movies. And they had they actually did Serenity, where the movies in the background and they acted out Serenity, and it was weird. Like
It
it was
doesn't
at a
sound
convention
fun.
that was tired. it was funny because there's people doing dumb shit and trying
Well,
to
I mean, I
they
didn't
don't
say
know the
funny,
words.
but like, oh, they don't.
No, they just kind of like move their mouths because they haven't memorized the
No,
words.
that's
Oh,
It's like
okay.
you have one fucking job to do, guy who's wash. You're gonna die at the end. What the fuck?
I am the leaf.
Yeah. And then some chicks dressed up as Summer there, and she's murdering a bunch of people at the end of Serenity. It was great. She was flipping out for no reason.
But
So
like
yeah,
Rocky
Rocky Horror Picture
Horror,
Show's a movie, and some people
yeah,
like it.
yeah, and it started that whole thing that I think is much better shown in today's culture. That's not a remote. I'm sorry.
Which
My
is
mother's waving things in my face. It started up this whole other culture, which is much better represented nowadays by stuff like The Room, where they have the theater thing that's like the weird movie in theaters now, and like MST3K kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of that stuff out there, and
Oh,
you
man.
respect the
Yeah.
original, but you
Yeah.
don't have to really go back to. It's kind of like how Plan 9 from Outer Space is great too, but I totally understand if you're like that's just weird and old. You know?
yeah. I guess I get that.
I think part of the problem, like with most things, is the people that really love Rocky Horror just won't shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
Like, totally cool, whatever you want to do. But if you want to just stop telling me about you're going to Rocky Horror, that's great. You're going to
Hey,
midnight,
man.
you and all your friends. I'm super happy for you. It's great.
The
Okay.
time warp and that entire soundtrack is fantastic, but you can't fucking listen to it ever because it's been burned to the ground.
Didn't
Pretty
they make a
much,
sequel
yeah.
to Rocky Horror at some
They
point?
did. It was called High Voltage, I believe.
I would be so much more interested in just seeing that and seeing how weird it is now that they knew what they had, like how bad it was. I don't know. All I know is that they made a sequel, and that would be more interesting probably, and probably be awful.
Shock Treatment, my bad. It was called Shock Treatment.
Ah,
I
I
just
bet
realized
there's-
something. Every cult classic on our list is on T-shirts and Hot Topic.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
No. There is no fucking way they have Hudson Hawk t-shirt at Hot Topic. No one but me likes... Well, no one in, like, me and, like, 1,000 other people like the Hudson Hawk. No
I
one.
wanna-
I'm not sure what it is, but it looks familiar.
Are you
enough
one of them,
that
Alex?
No, I don't.
that's that movie with Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah, the one where it's a
And-
cartoon.
Yeah, the like.
But it's not a it's live action, but it's a fucking
Yeah.
cartoon, and it's hysterical.
I've seen parts of that. Yes. In
love
my
them.
travels.
We'll I'll talk about. I guess yeah. I love the Hudson Hawk. It is one of the worst rated movies of all time. It is a Bruce Willis movie about a cat burglar who steals things timed to show tunes, so he sings show tunes as he does heists.
That sounds
incredible.
It is incredible. There's this one amazing heist in the middle of the movie where they sing "Swinging on a Star" while they're robbing this auction house, and it is so great. And then,
Alright.
then you'll have scenes like Bruce Willis jumps off of a hotel roof and like lands in the canopy, you know, the awning in front of the building, and he goes through into the armchair of the villain's like headquarters to talk to the guy. Like it's like weird cuts like that and breaks in logic. That it's very cartoony, but it's fun. Like I hate Baby's Day Out for being a live action cartoon because it was weird and like at times really disturbing, but the Hudson Hawk pulls it off because it's an R-rated comedy. They're swearing constantly. It's violent.
I have not seen enough of this movie, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, it's also about finding a lost Leonardo da Vinci machine to turn lead into gold.
Of course,
Yeah.
because
And
that's the thing.
And there's an evil butler who has like giant knives that shoot out of his suit sleeves.
That is like the greatest thing
There's
ever.
The only
there's
thing,
there's this amazing scene where sorry, I know I cut you off, Jared. I'll just give me what's where the butler the guy's like what about my cut? And the butler pulls out his knife and just slashes the guy's throat and says, "There's your cut." And he turns to the other people and says, "Pardon my dry British humor." Ha ha ha. And it's like, that's the movie. It's like weird shit like that is the movie. It is so good. You have to watch the Hudson Hawk.
Is it
the only thing I know about Hudson Hawk?
Yes.
No, it's just Hudson Hawk.
Oh, is it?
The only thing you know about Hudson Hawk is not only it one of the worst movies of all time, it also is one of the worst Nintendo games of all time.
Yeah, that's
I remember.
True.
It had a game?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, Hudson Hawk the game came out for the Nintendo
on the NES.
And it was one of Sean Baby's worst NES games of all time because it was fucking horrible. So yes, it is not only it's bad. It's a multimedia extravaganza of terribleness.
Every R-rated.
I'm sure it's.
Yeah, every R-rated movie had a video game on the NES.
Yeah.
But
all day.
That's your guys' homework. Go watch the Hudson Hawk because I have a feeling at least Dustin and I think Jared might actually like it too. I'm
sure it'll be entertaining.
Yeah.
I liked Surf Nazis Must Die. I mean, I'm sure it can't be any worse or better than that.
But since
I think it's just Hudson Hawk. I don't think it's the Hudson Hawk.
Okay, Hudson Hawk. Yeah, you're right. Hudson Hawk. I gushed about that, so I want to turn the floor over to Jared to talk about his cult classic that sparked.
Let's talk about Clerks.
Yeah, let's talk about Clerks.
Let's just talk about Clerks for the next hour. How much time we have left in this podcast? Let's talk about that for the next 45 minutes.
I'm okay.
We'll save 5 minutes at the end to save like 12 mentions.
Oh, for like Office Space. Yeah, we can do the last 5 minutes on Office Space. But we can talk about Clerks, who, for someone my age, was exactly what you didn't want your life to be. Like, it was just, everything kind of boring and it sucks and it's weird and it's stupid, but it's all Star Wars references. So it's like, I totally understand what you're going through, Dante and Randall. And it was just this stupid, weird movie that was not incredibly well made, but it actually spoke to you. Like, it actually made you like, I can actually see people talking like this. Unlike Rocky Horror, where everyone sings and dances the entire time, Clerks just talk to you. Like you were real people. Like it was a movie about real people that you could relate to if you were anywhere between 18 and 15 and 30. It's like, I know that guy.
I love Clerks, but there are some parts of it that don't hold up anymore.
Like what?
Well, it's 20 years old.
Well,
I mean,
like the whole selling the cigarettes to the kid, like just it's more of Kevin Smith's style and the way he shot that stuff, and then I don't know, I thought it was funny the first time I saw it, but I feel like the whole girl fucking the dead guy in the bathroom thing to just kind of be really weird and just in there for shock value. But the rest of the movie's like pure fucking brilliant. Like
I think one of my favorite things about Clerks is in Clerks 2 when they talk about the events of Clerks 1 as just like, remember that fucking really crazy day we had where that woman fucked that guy and we went to that funeral? Like, that's why that was such a good movie, because nothing really crazy happened. Like, that guy died and she kind of fucked that guy, which was pretty weird. But it wasn't so outlandish that it got to a point where I was like, that's totally fucking unbelievable. That could never happen. I guess it could. Like, that woman, the person fucking that woman, or the woman fucking that guy was pretty, probably not going to happen. But besides that, it seemed like a day you could have.
Yeah, no, the rest of it. But
the original, first of all, let's point out that the original ending to that movie ruined that movie. In the original ending of the movie,
where
Dante is
killed.
Closing up this. Yeah, Dante gets shot, and then it becomes from this really nice buddy movie to life is fucking worthless. Why do you even bother? Fuck you. And that movie is totally ruined in 10 seconds.
Which is what makes those two scenes I pointed out stick out. Like this is a movie about how fucking shitty life is, and not about two guys trying to deal with the lives they've dealt for themselves, But
sounds like something a college student would do in their movie.
Yeah, no, it makes sense with how old Kevin Smith was, and it was his first real movie and all that. But you take it, you put in the theatrical ending, and it makes the whole movie better. And gives us Clerks 2, which is fucking fantastic as well.
And by the way, the Clerks animated series is also awesome.
It really,
The
it's
8
so
episodes
good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good.
It is
It shouldn't be
incredible.
good. There's no reason. There's the one episode, and I've actually watched it with the commentary on the one episode they did where they did like the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom like thing in the middle of it was so good. It's depressing that it only got like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
incredibly good for what it is.
I mean,
It has a
the
great art
Clerks
style.
cartoon is a it's a fucking cartoon as well, with cartoon logic, but it knows that. Like, it's very self-aware of the fact that it's a cartoon.
Well, the second episode was a clip show of the first episode.
Yes, yes, it
which
was.
is fucked up
And
and
it's-
hilarious. Yeah,
And
they did a lot of random things. That was during the time when everyone had a cartoon show, and they're like, oh, I guess we'll give the Clerks guys cartoon shows.
I just love that episode where they lose the end of the episode and it's redone by Korean animators. And it's all
Oh,
weird
yeah.
in
Yeah, that was
anime.
good. Yeah.
Had Pikachu
Yeah, that was
in
good.
it.
Oh, there's so
Max.
many.
That's timeless.
And Alec Baldwin was in it. Like, what the fuck?
That was actually
Yeah,
That was when Alec Baldwin was like a big actor too.
Yeah, they had real people. Was he Leonardo?
Yeah, he was Leonardo.
Oh.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
Leonardo. Yeah. Yeah, it has one of the best line reads of all time. Like, do yourself a favor if you haven't seen it. There's only 6 episodes, they're like 23 minutes each. The art style's great and it's hilarious, and it gives you more Randall, which there's never been a time when I don't want to see more Randall.
And that
Like, that character is great.
the Clerks animated series or the special edition of Clerks that comes with the missing scenes from Clerks in the animated form, where the scene of the funeral, and then I can't remember what the other one is.
I have 3 versions of Clerks. I think that was on Clerks 20.
Okay, yeah, those are actually pretty good too, and would work just fine in the movie.
Yeah, they for how much. The sad thing about Clerks is if you had the technology today to make Clerks, he could have made that movie for what, like $200? He made
Yeah.
that movie for like $20,000 because he had to make prints. Now you could digitally release that movie for basically nothing. Like, you need one camera and some dollies.
Hell, you
And
don't
you have
even
that
need
movie
a
pretty
camera.
much done.
You can just use a phone nowadays.
Especially for the way that movie was
Yeah,
shot.
well, I mean,
yeah.
you know. Yeah, I mean, you could probably put a dolly on an iPhone and it would look just as good as
With
the
an
original Clerks
Instagram
did.
filter.
It's just black and
Yeah, there
white,
you go.
Dustin. It's not an Instagram filter. It's just black and white.
There's a black and white Instagram filter.
Yeah, but
I think.
it's
Do people use Instagram filters anymore? I assume everyone stopped
yes,
using
they
them.
do. It's still
5
awful.
They can enhance photos sometimes, especially if you have a very shitty camera. They can like up the contrast, or you could just use the contrast button, but that's not as fun.
Let's also talk about how famous people who should never be famous became from Clerks. Obviously Kevin Smith, but Jason Mewes is basically a heroin addict for most of his life. He's really famous.
Who?
Randall, I don't know what. Jason Mewes is Jay.
Okay.
Oh, is that a joke? Was
No,
that a joke? Or is
it's
that...
not a joke. I had no idea who you were talking about.
Jay.
Yeah, I know who Jay is. I guess he's the
Of
tall
Jay.
one
Yeah, he's
Next to
the
Kevin
one
Smith.
who doesn't talk. He's the one who
in
talks.
the movie.
He's
I
the
just-
skinny talking one.
What else has he done that he's famous?
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Clerks
Right.
2.
He had his own
Dogma.
fucking movie. He had his own movie.
Okay, yeah, he's just done a bunch of those. The Kevin
He was
Smith-
in Zack and Miri.
Oh
okay.
yeah, he
He was in
was.
Zack and Miri. He was actually very good in Zack and Miri.
Didn't he
That
show his
movie's
dick
great.
in that movie?
Did he?
I think so. I think
I
that
think
was
that?
the
he did.
big
Yeah,
thing.
he showed his dick. I think.
I don't remember. He was
flopped
naked
out.
in Clerks 2, but you couldn't see his cock.
He had it like tucked in or something, if I remember.
Yeah, he had the tucked. Yeah.
Let's see, he was
So Clerks
also
is
in a
spawned-
few Canadian shows. I know he was on Degrassi with Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
like
with
they
Kevin
played
Smith.
themselves. He usually just shows up though as Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's basically who he is, and they have their own podcast. Like, it's amazing. We talked about like Rocky Horror, but Clerks really has created comic books, TV shows, other movies, spin-off movies. Like that one movie created Kevin Smith, and also created like his own little weird empire of stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
there's been
like
a lot of stuff that came out of Clerks, like a lot.
there's a View Askew universe because of Clerks, which is,
Yeah.
for those who don't know, that world where all of Kevin
And-
Smith's movies with Jay and Silent Bob take place.
Yeah, and it's pretty weird that little $20,000 movie that he had to sell his comic books to shoot became this like, wow, you've got a TV show now, and now you get another movie, and here's some more movies, and yeah, you get to have a feature where you get to play a guy named Cockknocker as Mark Hamill plays the evil guy in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back called Cockknocker, which was fantastic.
That was a good movie.
That was a really
It was a good movie. You needed to watch all the other movies. You had no fucking idea what was going on because, like, Ben Affleck played two separate people in that movie. But, you know, if you actually watched all four other movies, it was
made
pretty
sense.
good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man, those are so good. We should talk about Darkman. Please tell me I'm not the only one who saw Darkman.
I've seen Darkwing Duck.
I've seen Darkwing Duck. We can talk about Darkwing Duck if you want.
Yeah, let's totally talk about Darkwing Duck.
Wait, have you guys really not seen Darkman?
No.
No.
I'm so disappointed. One of the
I've never even heard of it until now.
It's one of Sam Raimi's first movies after Evil Dead. And it stars Liam Neeson.
Oh, 1990, I wouldn't have been seeing that. That's not something I would have seen in 1990.
But,
if you're talking about like R-rated movies from the early 90s, I probably haven't seen them, to be honest.
Really? Why?
3 stars on IMDb.
Well, I don't give a shit what IMDb says.
Just
It's
consider
one of
it.
until the Marvel movies and The Dark Knight started, it was the best fucking comic book movie ever made that wasn't and it's not actually a comic book. But it's about a scientist who gets in an accident and he's given superhuman strength, but it like disfigures him.
Yeah, he looks like
Is that why he's wearing all that shit in his face?
Yeah.
the Invisible Man, like the way his face. I had the action figure for that, but I never seen the movie.
Yes. But he was developing like a synthetic skin, so he makes other faces for himself, so he can like be stealthy and shit. It's really fucking good. You guys should watch Darkman. It is a comic book movie before they made good comic book movies. And
They made 2 other Dark
and
Man
they're
movies.
both pretty terrible. Because they were not done by Sam Raimi and they were direct to video. So and they also
there was a
didn't star
30-minute
Liam
TV
Neeson.
pilot.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was a comic issues, and there were novels. They made a lot of stuff out of Darkman, which is pretty good for something I'd never heard of. Made a lot of money. I mean, it was a budget of $16 million, made $48, so it did something right.
It did well. You guys should also check out Darkman. It is fantastic.
Well, usually when we think of cult movies, we think of movies that did not do well. That's what we talk about. We're going to talk about Office Space later, which did abysmally at the box office.
Let's talk
and
about
just
Office
became-
Space.
Let's talk about Office Space.
Office Space is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I can't watch it because it literally motivates me to do nothing, and I'm usually too busy to motivate because I watch Office Space and I want to sit on my ass and do jack shit, and I can't do that.
Hey, Peter, man, come check out these tits. Let's do this. What a great fucking movie that is. And that really became like a lot of people had that job, right? A lot of people have the job where they sit at the cubicle and do that. And again, it was one of those.
Yeah, I've had that job.
And it's one of those voices. It speaks to people. People can relate, and that's why that movie is. Even though it didn't do well in the theaters, because I don't remember what the marketing ploy was. I think the marketing ploy was pretty much the same thing.
Look at Jennifer Aniston. She's got buttons on her jacket.
True. I think also remember that the Milton thing was actually like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
It was.
I think
No,
so.
what
Like the thing
was
about
it was
this.
like a comic or something. I thought there was like some guy something Mike Judge did beforehand.
No,
I don't know where.
I'm
it
looking.
was. I thought. I want to say that it was.
It
I
might have
want to say it
been.
was Saturday Night Live,
Office
but it
Space
might
is
not be.
based on Judge's Milton cartoon series,
There we go.
which is
Yeah.
a series of animated shorts created for Saturday Night Live. You were both right.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Go ahead.
Gary Cole. Gary Cole, like that role as Lumberg is iconic. I think everyone who has had that boss, everyone has made those jokes. I'm gonna need you to come in on Sunday. That'd be great. It just it has very recognizable characters. It has Michael Bolton saying "ass clown" wrong. It has so many random moments that you're like, I could see that happening. Like the bad Superman 3 reference, they're them stealing all the money. I think if you're between the ages of 20 and 40, or about 25 and 40, you probably had very real conversations in your head about what your life would be like if you had that job.
Oh yeah,
How
definitely.
could I get out? How you've daydreamed about like, man, if only I could find a way I could take tenths of pennies from interest transactions and made our way, but that movie did shit at the box office, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it did very well. Yeah, box office was like 12 million out of a 10 million budget, which isn't good, but it did really well in DVD sales afterward.
I always liked Idiocracy better. Out
I
of the
really like
two.
Idiocracy too, as well. Like that movie is fantastic.
And that movie didn't even get a chance to be in the theater. Like, didn't they just put that out like contractually obligated?
I think it was something
Yeah,
like that, but it
probably.
was in theaters, I believe.
For a very limited time.
What I have with Idiocracy is the people that are like, yeah, that's exactly what life is like. No, people aren't just stupid. Like it's not just like, oh, uneducated people are having kids, therefore everyone's going to be stupid. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I have. That movie's
Wait
very
a
good.
minute,
But
there's a post-credit stinger on Idiocracy?
Yeah.
huh?
I didn't fucking know that.
I kind of agree a little bit that I mean it's a simplistic way to look at things, but I kind of feel like the TV shows are getting pretty close to what was presented in Idiocracy.
No,
As
no, you know
someone
what?
who
As
watched them professionally for a few years.
you want to know? No, not getting there. If you watch any Disney Channel original shows, it is Idiocracy. So
They have a movie called Teen Beach Movie. They couldn't think of a title. It's just this is Teen Beach Movie. There are teens on the beach.
Is that
They're gonna do what you want
is
to
that
do.
supposed to be? Is that one of those parody movies?
No,
it's
no.
Or
it's
is it
like a
really?
remake of Grease for Disney Channel kids.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. All I
Yeah,
know
but-
is I saw some merchandise at Disney World last time I was there. It said
No, you're
Teen
right.
Beach Movie, and
No, you're
apparently
totally
that's
right.
the movie.
There has to be a porno
But, I mean,
named the
those
same
are-
thing.
They wouldn't even have to change the title. It's just.
Oh, there
this
is.
the real movie. Of course there is.
I'm just gonna watch that now.
So I'm on the Wikipedia article for cult movies, and they have an amazing movie on here that I hope other people have seen, but I assume Jared has, because Jared knows. You've seen 12 Monkeys, right?
Yeah, with Brad Pitt.
Okay, yeah, with Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis. Amazing
Yeah.
movie about time travel, directed by Terry Gilliam of Monty Python. Yeah, starring Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis. One of the best time travel movies ever made.
Are there monkeys?
No,
Oh.
there are not.
Oh, why would there be?
You should. You should still watch it. This Wikipedia entry incorrectly has Akira on here because I don't think it's an incredibly famous movie,
Well, I
and
mean,
like world renowned, and like maybe it's a cult classic in the United States, but
yeah, it kind of that was like one of the really early ones that started the anime thing.
it
So it was
start
kind
like
of
it's
culty in
start,
the beginning.
if it can start an entire movement, I don't think it can really be like.
I mean, you could start from a cult and then get popular. Like I would almost argue that Office Space is kind of out of the cult at this point. Like everyone knows about that movie. You don't. It's not some secret.
What about Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy? Is that a cult classic, or is that a fucking Will Ferrell comedy at the height of Will
No,
Ferrell's
yeah,
career?
that's super popular. Like I wouldn't put that as a cult movie either. That's crazy.
They have a ton of movies on here. Like Caddyshack isn't a cult movie. It's fucking Caddyshack.
This was Army of Darkness, which Evil Dead is on my list on our notes. Army of Darkness and Evil Dead are definitely cult classics, and those movies are fantastic.
Yeah, like
Yeah, well, I mean, then
you could mention that
Fight
too.
Club. Then I mean, it's the same type of thing.
You could mention those movies to a group
Everyone
of people,
knows Fight
and I
Club.
bet
Well, I
you
don't know.
haven't seen those.
People might know Evil Dead now because they just remade it, but Army of Darkness, I would say, is still probably a cult classic.
Right.
Sure.
Like it
It's
would.
also-
Someone
it's-
would be like, because of the Family Guy culture, it would be like something like, "Oh, that's the guy with the chainsaw, right?" But they probably
Well,
wouldn't.
it's also we have to understand because of the internet, we have a bunch of people that talk about those movies and can easily interact with other people. So if you're on Reddit or you're on Tumblr or you're on whatever, you're going to hear about a lot more stuff than you would have 20 years ago.
Yeah,
20
for
years
sure.
ago, it would have been hard to hear about Hudson Hawk if you didn't know about it. But now, if you have a bunch of people talking about it, it's going to kind of permeate the culture.
I mean, the most popular movies every summer are like superhero movies and toy movies now, so it's kind of weird like that.
Can we talk about Big Trouble in Little China? 'Cause
Yeah!
more people need to watch Big Trouble in Little China. That is one of
I
the
was-
best movies of all time.
I was gonna put that on there, but then I was just like, I'm sure it'll come up.
It
So I
it,
don't even have.
I mean, Reservoir Dogs is on this list too. I mean,
it was
we need to talk about Reservoir Dogs, like how great Reservoir Dogs is. Yeah, it's great.
no, everyone knows
It's super
Quentin
great,
Tarantino
guys.
is a household name at this point, but Big Trouble in
Yeah.
Little China is not a household movie, and it should be.
Right. Everyone just says, "Oh, John Carpenter
Scarface
made
is on
the
this
thing,"
fucking thing. Jesus
or
Christ.
John Carpenter made Halloween, and then they ignored the best movie he ever made. He invented Mortal Kombat. Like he did, right? Every
that's
time I watch that
basically
movie, that's what I think.
Mortal Kombat is basically a Big Trouble in Little China video game.
The guys that at Midway must have watched that movie. Was like, yeah, let's do that.
Just it won't come out again. What won't come out again? What won't come out? That scene in that movie is the weirdest part of that movie, and that movie's fucking weird. Oh
Yeah,
god.
One of the main villains of that movie internally combusts.
And Raiden is in that movie.
No,
Mortal Kombat Raiden. Yeah, Mortal Kombat
Raidens
Raiden.
are in that movie.
He literally has the same hat and the lightning powers and everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Was that?
Does anyone else like the Boondock Saints except for me?
I love Boondock Saints.
Okay, good. I love its sequel too. Those movies are not great movies, but they're kick-ass 2-hour-long music videos with bullets. Basically.
I wasn't a huge fan of the second one, but that first one was such a interesting look at the Dirty Harry Punisher type of, people.
It's also one
Like-
of Willem Dafoe's best roles.
Yes, absolutely. Was.
God damn it.
Yeah, he was. The being from New England, some of those Boston accents were fucking cringeworthy. It's just like they just missed the mark so many times. Just like, ugh, fuck. Like, can you get you couldn't get someone from Southie to play this role? It's really painful, but yeah, that's. Also, it has Daryl in it, which is every girl's favorite. My wife's favorite is Daryl, so
And Young
he is
Indiana
in
Jones.
that as well.
It was Daryl and Young Indiana Jones.
And Young Indiana Jones.
So there's movies on here that we can talk about or not talk about, but I'm stuck in the B's. There's so many good movies on this list. Has anyone else seen Brain Dead, or also called Dead Alive, the Peter Jackson horror movie that is still has the highest amount of on-screen blood at one time, aka the movie where the guy straps a lawnmower to his chest and just pushes it through zombies.
I have not seen that,
Nope.
but I believe I played it. It's called Dead Rising.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
basically what it was. It's fantastic, and there's an amazing scene where a guy is punching a zombie baby through a playground.
I'm in love.
Yeah.
I
I feel like Dustin doesn't have much to contribute, but Dustin is just like, oh man, I have a list. I gotta write all this down.
Well, you don't want me to start talking about Howard the Duck and why it's rightfully on this list.
Okay, you have to talk about Howard the Duck, because Howard the Duck is a terrible fucking movie, and you have to defend it, besides the fact that you're obsessed
totally
with ducks.
wrong. You're totally wrong. I will go with Dustin's side on Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck is right up there with Back to the Future. Like,
What? No.
80s
No
comedies.
fucking way.
Yes.
No.
Well, and that might be
Exactly.
because they have the same woman in them.
Jared, you have to fall on one side of this fence. Like,
What fence? I don't understand the
Like,
question.
Howard the Duck.
how,
penis.
Alex
Do I
just
like a
made
shitty
the,
movie?
No. Alex just made the
Like Howard the
assertion
Duck, or no?
that Howard the
Back to
Duck
the Future.
stands up to Back to the Future. You
No,
can,
no. I said it stands beside it.
yeah,
No.
that's worse.
Of 80s.
No, it doesn't
yeah,
stand
Back to
fucking
the
beside
Future's
it. What's
better.
wrong with you?
But no, I will. That movie is 80s.
No, it's fucking shitty.
No.
So were the 80s, let's be honest.
First of all-
it's like
I
the
love
80s were
it.
pretty
First of
shitty.
I
all-
love how shitty they were.
How do you... No, that Back to the
I've
Future is
seen too
excellent,
many
and
shitty
it's not as good as.
Decision.
Hey! I listened to you spout shit about a bad movie. Now you're gonna hear what the truth is. Okay, the truth is Duck sucks. Okay, and Back to the Future isn't as good as Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in any way. There's zero way it is a
You're
fucking
hilarious.
better movie than Bill and Ted's.
I
Ways.
love Bill and Ted
Yup.
too, 100%.
No,
But Back to the Future is
I
the
can't
perfect
agree
film.
with that. I love
No, it's
Bill
not.
and Ted, but yeah, no, I can't agree with that.
Back to the Future is 100% like if you want what is a movie, I will give you Back to the Future.
Yeah, you're also talking like you're talking to the guy who watches those movies constantly and goes to the Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure every year at Halloween Horror Nights. Like I love Bill and Ted, but Back to the Future is way better.
Bill and Ted is not
No,
going
see,
to
the
stand
problem
up.
is he didn't do enough cool shit with the fucking time traveling in that movie. Bill and Ted's had better time traveling.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Bill and
and
Ted is they're
what
just
did-
making
what
up
does he do in
silly
Back to the
rules
Future?
about it.
Back to the Future isn't about it's a time travel accident. He's not supposed to go back. That wasn't their
Right.
goal. Where Bill and Ted are traveling through time on purpose.
I'm sorry, when you build a time machine, your whole purpose is to go through time.
Yeah, but Doc Brown
If you
wanted
build
to
a
go
time
through
machine,
time.
there's
Marty
only thing-
didn't want to go through time.
Well-
Marty got sucked into the past
Well,
on
whatever.
accident.
Then why didn't he go do awesome shit? He went back and kind of almost fucked his mom.
Because he didn't
And
know where
he's
it was
like,
going in time. He just hit some buttons on the dashboard because he thought it
So-
was put turn on the
That's
radio.
fine. You do
And then he
understand that,
went-
like, think about it this way. Think about this. So the parents in high school met a guy who looks exactly like their son does as he grows up.
Right.
Imagine you went to high school with somebody, and then
Yeah.
when you fucking 30 years later, you have a kid who looks fucking exactly like him. Like, exactly. How fucked up is that?
I'm only 24 and I
Infinitely
don't
fucked up
remember
as well.
half the people I hung out with in high school.
Yeah, me
So
too.
it's I totally buy
I'm
that they
okay
do
with
not-
that.
they remember the guy's name and nothing else. That's totally legit.
There's no way.
Yeah!
Totally.
They
telling
do
me
it
if
for
you
like
saw
4
someone for, like-
days.
So, well, I mean, yeah, some of the four most important days of their lives. So you're telling me if there's some dude you hung out with for like a week when you were 17 and you saw them 20 years later, you wouldn't be like, oh, I have no idea who. And you saw him
Yeah.
exactly as he was. I'm not saying you see him like 30 years old later. You're seeing the same person.
Really? No.
He's
Because you
the same
no.
guy.
So you'd see that person, you'd be like, "Wow, doesn't that guy look like that person we knew in high school?" Yeah, it does. You wouldn't automatically make the jump in logic that, "Oh my God, it's
I'm
the
not saying
same
it would.
person
That's
he
fucking
traveled
weird.
through
Time
time."
traveler.
I'm saying that's no. I'm not saying it's time travel. I'm saying it's fucking strange.
Yeah,
It's totally fucking
time
strange.
travel is also a very strange thing. I don't know if you knew that.
Can, can we?
Yes.
Can we what?
Anyway,
Can we go back to how Howard the Duck is a
sucks.
good comedy?
No, we should probably talk about Donnie Darko next.
Yeah,
Oh,
Because
well.
that is a very famous cult movie that I like. I like Donnie Darko.
I liked it, but the Hot
it's-
Topic crowd ran into the ground.
Yeah, no. It's not as good as people make it out to be, but it is good and really interesting. It's also like the most indie bullshit that you could possibly get to without being an art movie.
I don't remember it being that indie though. It was just kind of.
Really, he's constantly hallucinating about a man in a creepy ass bunny costume.
I mean, is that really that much different from Fear and Loathing in New Vegas?
Yes, because they're on drugs the entire time.
No,
Like,
Fear
that
of
is them-
Vegas. Fear and Loathing in New Vegas, the Fallout movie.
We could talk about the Harvey
David
David.
of 4.5 million too. So.
I'm looking on this same list, David. I'm looking. Kick-Ass is
First of
a
all,
cult movie?
No, it's not.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's. I want to say that if we want to talk about indie movies, let's talk about SLC Punk, which is one of my favorites.
I haven't seen that.
I
That's
love
on my
that
list
stuff.
of things to watch. Is it good?
It's a good movie.
It's
Okay, I'll watch it.
It's very good. Yeah, it's
Have you
sad.
seen-
Like it is. It is. I have cried during that movie. Sad. Like
Well,
not even a
He
fucking.
dies at the
questionable.
end, right?
Not he,
Oh.
but his friend does. Yes.
Someone does, because
And it's-
that's
Yes.
because they're making a sequel, and that was the one thing I saw was the grave in the image. I was like, oh well, I guess.
Oh, they're making a
that's-
sequel, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they're making a sequel.
Why?
I don't
It's
know.
like-
'Cause
that's like the definition of a movie that stands on its own. It does not need a sequel.
now there are two movies on this
This
list. that
came
I've
out
been-
like 15 years ago. Came
Bro,
out 15
RoboCop
years
is
ago.
on this
Dude. That's
Can we if you want to talk about something that came out 30 years ago and got a sequel, we could talk about Tron, which is one of my favorite fucking movies of all time.
I hated the original.
Fuck
Legacy
you,
just
Dustin.
blew me away. It was wonderful.
The original Tron is a beautiful
But
movie.
would you consider the original Tron to be a character film?
I can't sit through
Like,
the
because this
original
is
Tron
like
and pay
Clerks.
my full attention to it. It's really slow.
It is really slow. No, I'll give you that. It's really fucking slow. But I love Tron.
I like watching scenes from
Because the
Tron.
thing is, character movies are hard to move forward, especially like with SLC Punk. That was about him being a teenager and trying to move into being a productive member of society, and not being into anarchy and stuff. And that's why, like 15 years later, it seems weird. Like same thing with Clerks. Clerks didn't move. Like Clerks was basically after 15 years, they were exactly the same people. Like they were the same guys. But when I think of movies that they take a really long break, if it's not a character film, it's not a big deal. Like, how many years have there been between the Die Hard films? Right? Like, it's always the same thing. He's just a badass and he's going to save the world again. It doesn't matter if it's been 20 years, because nothing's going to change. But the whole point of, like, SLC Punk is everything changed at the end of that movie.
Is From Dusk Till Dawn a cult classic?
There's RoboCop is on this list.
Okay, okay.
Super Mario Brothers is on this list. Why?
Well, that's
'Cause there's
a
like
cult
4
classic because it's a bad movie that people like.
Yeah. Can
Like
we
me.
talk about
It's a
how Edward
terrible
Scissorhands
fucking
is a
movie.
terrible movie and I hate it?
Wait, I think I know which one. So go ahead.
I just said, can we talk about how Edward Scissorhands is a
Oh.
terrible movie and I hate it?
I liked it when I was a
It's
kid.
also bad.
It is a bad retelling of Frankenstein that gets the entire point of Frankenstein wrong. And that and The Crow, which is a good movie, spawned the emo movement. And while I like The Crow, I hate Edward Scissorhands, so I solely blame Edward Scissorhands for emo kids.
I can't hate that movie because I
Well-
liked Tim Burton stuff when I was a kid.
I think
So,
Tim
the
Burton's
thing
an
with-
overrated piece of shit.
He is now.
He's kind of always been. Beetlejuice is great.
Yeah, I never. I
Nightmare
wasn't
Before
famous.
The Nightmare Before Christmas is really good, but it's been fucking ruined by Hot Topic. And
Well,
that's
that's
it.
not his movie anyway. He didn't direct
I
it.
know,
No,
I
man.
know. But that's
Big
it.
Fish. Big Fish.
I don't like Big Fish. Maybe I need to
Why?
rewatch it because I saw it. I was
That
forced
movie's
to watch
great.
it when I was like 13 and I didn't
That
like
movie-
it. I'll give it another shot.
I
That's
think
the last
that
movie I ever did.
I think The Crow is especially culty because of how the myth of the lead actor dying during filming. That kind of gives it like another
It wasn't a
level of
myth.
cultness. Like,
He died. He did die. That wasn't a myth.
but
It
it is. It
happened.
becomes like it becomes legend.
It's a legend. Yeah,
right?
no, it
like
is a
legendary.
legend.
Like, oh, there's also the myth of who was like murdered on purpose. Like, was it really a mistake? There's a lot of conspiracy theories of what could have been happening, but Brandon Lee, famous pedigree, dies doing a amazing comic book adaptation, a very good comic book adaptation of James O'Barr's The Crow, and it's a really good movie, even though some of his scenes are his face like plastered on someone else's body for a while.
Yeah. Oh man, In Bruges is on this list. That's definitely a cult classic. That movie is fantastic. Just an incredibly dark ass comedy about a hitman who has been taken to a city to basically been shown one last good time before he's brutally murdered because he accidentally killed a small child.
I mean, there's so many weird movies on this. Slap Shots on here.
Dumb and Dumber is on
Tank-
this list.
Yeah, you know this
Dumb
is
and
definitely
Dumber,
a cult
Tank
movie,
Girl, like,
and I hope you guys have seen it. Well, Tank Girl's a cult classic, but it sucks.
Yeah.
Kung Pao Enter the
but
Fist
Ice-T
is
is
on
in it
this.
playing like a dog, which is fantastic.
Dude, Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
I've never liked that movie.
Really? It was
I don't like it either.
it was the right kind of dumb for me.
No, yeah, because they made a dumb thing.
They made a
Tim
really
and Eric
dumb
levels
thing.
of dumb.
Oh, I like Tim and Eric at times.
I like Tim and Eric when they're restrained, but that's Tim and Eric when they're just like, whatever.
Why is Mean Girls on this list?
Because that's a great movie. What do you mean?
I really don't like Mean
That's a
Girls, but
fucking
it's definitely
great
not.
ass movie.
Oh, whoa. Okay, no. Here. The Monster Squad is on this list, which is fucking incredible. I think the Monster Squad's better than the Goonies. I know the Goonies has like legend status, but no, the Monster Squad is fucking fantastic. Also, it's
Not better than Goonies.
I don't know, man. I really like Monster Squad. Has anyone else seen it?
I've heard of it once before today.
It's basically the Goonies, but they're fighting like Universal classic monsters.
Okay.
Sounds right.
It's really good. You should check it out.
Mystery Men is
It
on
was
this
Shane.
list.
It was Shane Black's movie, which he did Iron Man 3 and other stuff.
Does anyone like Mystery Men?
I
I
like
do.
Mystery Men. Mystery Men's fun
Why?
because it's
Because
really
it's
it's fun. It's a fun movie. Does anyone like Napoleon Dynamite? Because I
No.
hate that movie.
No.
No.
No one likes Napoleon Dynamite. That's why his sitcom got canceled after 3 episodes.
He had a sitcom?
He had an animated series on Fox.
Very
That's-
recent,
that's-
like scarily recently, like last year. They
It was-
did that.
It was
Who would greenlight that?
The same people that gave Seth MacFarlane like 5 shows.
Oh, hey, The Raid is on this list. That movie's fucking
2000
fantastic,
Firefly.
and you all need to fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Pee-wee's Big
I've been
Adventure is
told
also
that.
on this list, and that movie is fantastic.
Okay, you're right. No, there's another good Tim Burton movie.
Yep,
Yeah, there
Pee-wee's
you
Big
go.
Adventure, fantastic.
Yep.
you
Rushmore.
go.
Rushmore is one of Wes Anderson's movie. It's fucking fantastic. That Rushmore reminds me a lot of Office Space, but instead of motivating you to do nothing, it's just about how Bill Murray is fucking depressed as shit and hates himself.
Okay, hey, David.
Yeah.
You've now made me go on to Tim Burton's Wikipedia page real quick,
Okay.
and I'm gonna read off these movies for you. Ed
Okay.
Wood,
Ed Wood's good. Okay, no, I'll give
Ed
him
Wood's
Ed Wood as
good.
well.
Sweeney Todd.
Nope.
Well, why not?
It's mediocre. It doesn't swing either way. It's
Oh.
also an adaptation of he just did a screen version of a musical.
He did a
Like,
really good one. I don't
but
like
it's still
musicals.
just it's still just a musical. Like, that's not him. That was him
Yeah.
taking a musical that was basically kind of tailor-made for him by someone else.
How about the first Batman movie?
I don't like I don't like the Tim Burton Batman movies at all.
You don't?
No.
Like, I know
I would rather watch
overstep.
Batman Forever than watch the first Batman movies.
Really?
Because at least Batman Forever is like someone trying to modernize 60s Batman.
Ugh. I hate that. I don't know. Okay, man.
Keep going.
Planet of the Apes, man.
It's fucking abysmal.
I know! It's so
It's
great.
so bad.
The ending makes no sense at all.
It makes no sense at all.
I love it. I do. Alright. Yeah. That's all the list. Nightmare Before Christmas 2, Corpse Bride. That was the other one. But
The Corpse Bride is beautiful to look at, but is so boring to watch.
it really was. I was a kid even in theater, and I was like, yeah. Man.
Can
Why
we
did
all
we
agree
correct
that Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is fucking fantastic and should have made
No.
way more money than it did? What?
No, screw you.
Screw you.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Great movie.
P-meter.
Love that movie.
I liked Shoot 'em Up.
I have that on DVD.
You know what movie isn't on here? You know what movie isn't on here that should be, which I really like, is Airheads, which is Adam Sandler and Steve Buscemi and Brendan Fraser have a rock band, and they assault their way into a radio station with fake guns to become famous.
Oh, okay.
I love that
need to
movie.
watch
I've seen
that.
it like 30 times. It's fucking fantastic.
Can someone tell me why Stargate, the movie that spawned 3 fucking TV shows, is on this list?
Because have you ever talked to a Stargate guy before?
I'm a
Yeah.
Stargater.
I own the Stargate movie and the first few seasons of SG-1. I really
had a
like
friend
Stargate.
who stuck with that thing till the bitter end.
The original
Universe
movie that
was-
spawned it all was just kind of shitty.
It's shitty. It's okay. It's fine. It's not bad, but it's not like amazing.
SG-1 was like Star Wars Next Generation level of
You mean
entertainment.
Star Trek?
Star Trek, yes.
But the whole way
There's
You
so
do
many
realize that
Star
movie made
Wars.
almost $200 million at the box office.
didn't that show?
$200 million.
Am I the only person that likes the Speed Racer movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're probably the only person who
Hot
likes the
Wheels movie,
cartoon as
basically.
well.
Oh, I do love the Speed Racer cartoon. Okay, yeah, that
I'll watch Speed Racer cartoon all day, but
Snatch is also fantastic. Guy Ritchie's movie with Brad Pitt.
This podcast is essentially us just reading Wikipedia.
At this point, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the
You
funny
want-
thing is what we consider to be cult classics, when half the cult classics are movies we've never heard of, and the other movies are ones that made $200 million.
Oh no, I've heard of like almost all of these. They're just either they're cult classics for the bad way. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
just
we're-
they're bad movies that people like. Like the Transformers, the movie, the animated one from the 80s is on here. If you were a kid in the 80s, you saw the Transformers movie. Like
right. That movie is great.
that movie is great.
That movie just killed off characters for no reason. It was brutal.
And they cursed. That was like amazing.
And there's a Weird Al
As a
song in
kid.
it.
There is.
There's
For
also
no
the
reason.
touch.
Yeah. I forget. I forget which one it was. And it might have just been in the credits or something. But he has a song on the soundtrack of that movie. That's how 80s it is.
Wow, I need to break that out on my Laserdisc and watch it again.
Jesus. Well, unless anyone else has anything else they want to add, we can briefly mention some cult classic video games that I wrote down and didn't talk about.
The Blues Brothers 2000 Nintendo 64 game.
we didn't. There is one more thing. It's about Fight Club and how the Fight Club is getting a sequel, comic book form next year.
I'm okay with that. I
So
like Jack
if you like Fight Club,
a good writer.
I don't like that. It's the same problem I had with Buffy season 8. It's like, okay, you end something, it's fine, it
But Buffy
stands on its
season 8
own.
is really good.
I know. I actually
I'd like to know.
And in
got
10
like
years, when they make more Buffy stuff and they just write all over it.
I
I'll
have
be
like
laughing.
all of the Angel
I
comics
wanna
and
know
the
which
Buffy season
ending-
8. I got for like 30 cents a piece at a yard sale the other day.
Nice.
And then you read them all because they're really good and you like it.
No, I'm not taking them out. They're like mint condition. I'm not gonna touch them.
Well, then you have to ship them off to the comic board to get them
CCG.
rated. Otherwise, the CCG. Otherwise, there's no fucking point in keeping them in mint condition.
Yeah, you might as well jerk off on them because they're not worth shit.
Either read them or
They get a
send them
million other
off. Those are
things.
your only choices.
Well,
The thing is, I want to know where Fight Club decides to end from. Do they take the movie ending or do they take the book?
They have to take the book ending because that's what Chuck Palahniuk. Well, no, because he did
I
say
hope
he
so.
liked the movie ending better, actually.
The movie ending is excellent, but the book ending is also interesting.
The movie ending
in the
wouldn't
book-
work as well for a sequel, though.
Yeah, because he breaks out of fucking insane asylum. That sounds pretty fucking rad to me.
Well, but that's not
Howard
what it's
Durden
about.
breaks out of
It's because in the
I know.
book he's laying in the hospital bed while people from Project Mayhem keep coming up to him and telling them there's very slow progress in destroying society, while he's just like recovering from having
Yeah,
shot
so-
himself in the face.
Yeah. Also, they have not made Survivor, which is Palahniuk's best book. They need to make that book into a movie tomorrow.
Whoa,
I can't wait to see that. They've been
I'm
talking about it for
sorry.
years.
Lullaby is Chuck Palahniuk's best book.
Which one?
Lullaby.
Lullaby?
Yeah.
I love Survivor. I've read Survivor like 4 times.
Survivor is
I love
really good. I've read almost whatever book he wrote. I can't remember what it was called. The one that had the devil on the face on the like the cartoon like tattooed devil on the cover. That's where I stopped reading his books. But I've read everything he's written before that.
Is Lullaby the one? Is Lullaby the one where they're in those like mobile homes driving across the country and one of them doesn't have the lower half of their jaw? Which one's that?
I think so, because Lullaby is about they're trying to. It's about the culling song, the song that when you sing it kills people, and they're
Sounded
trying to
bad.
like destroy all the copies about it. And there's like witches and stuff. It's really weird, like all of his
No,
books.
there's one of their movies. I can't remember what it was, but at some point, the girl in the movie doesn't have a lower jaw, so her like tongue is hanging out of her mouth, and she has to wear a veil. And then they go around the country
that's
in
Invisible
like
Monsters.
in prefab houses.
That's Invisible
Little
Monsters.
Monsters. There you go.
Yeah,
Invisible Monsters. There you go.
they were trying to make that into a movie too. You should read books.
what?
Also play
They're good guys.
Okami,
Read
Killer 7,
books.
and Ghost Trick, because those are fantastic games and more people should play them.
Ghost Trick I played, the other two. Still
Play
have
Phantom
You
Dust
did-
when it comes out on Xbox One.
You did, yeah, play Phantom Dust as well. You didn't play Ghost Trick, Dustin, after Talk
I
Radar
said I
yelled at
did.
you for
I
like.
said that was the only one I played.
No, I meant not
didn't
Ghost
play-
Trick. You didn't play Okami,
Okami.
after Talk Radar yelled at you for 5 years to play Okami, and you still didn't play Okami.
I have one of the handful of Talk Radar shirts that says like "Play Okami" on the back, but I've never played it.
Like, even I bought Okami and played an hour of it, and bought its sequel, Okami Den, and played an hour of it, and then never touched it.
I didn't even know it had a sequel.
Yeah, it had a DS sequel called Okami Den.
I
I'll
played
play it one
Okami
day, maybe.
in
probably not.
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I played that dude. That's
That
the
was-
Fox's name, right? Okami?
No, it's Amaterasu.
Oh,
Close
okay.
enough. Same thing.
Yeah. Those are both
Anyway.
words.
Yes, thank you everyone
Those are
for
all
listening
words. You're
to Nuts and Bolts.
Thank you.
Keep checking geekenstein.com. We have lots of fun things going up this week. I'm pretty sure Alex and I are live streaming this weekend.
Yep, I hope so. If
Yeah,
I
we
can
have-
get all my stuff from one apartment to another and set it all into piles, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we have things to play like I don't know.
How many Minecraft games?
No Minecraft games. Oh, we have
What?
we have Wayward Manor, the game that Neil Gaiman wrote.
Should I go find some Minecraft games?
And made with the Odd Gentlemen, aka the people who made
I bet if I go on Steam, I can find
Winterbottom.
You don't have to seek out Minecraft games. They just find you. That's how it works.
We could play more. We could just go. We could play more Block Story if you want.
Yeah, we gotta find that dragon.
Oh, and we're still playing. We're slowly playing every other week through Deadly Premonition. So check that out because that game is beautifully weird.
Yeah. That's a cult game.
That's a cult game for
Bringing
sure.
it all together.
Deadly Premonition.
All part of the plan, boys.
Dustin, where can the internet find you?
They can find me on the internet at my name places, Dustin Triplet.
Jared.
I'm at Metal Jared, and if you are playing Pokemon X, I still am. Please trade them on in the random trade, and then hopefully I'll get them. Because that's a lot more fun than actually trying to find Pokemon. It's me randomly trading all day, trying to get high-level Pokemon for nothing. That's what I've been doing.
Interesting. Alex.
Well, if you wanna call support.com multiple times, eventually you might get me. And then I will have to talk like a robot to you, and it will probably not be very fun. But it could happen. So there you go.
Again, you can find me at Xanthus, Zanthis, and on the internet and shit. That's it for this week. We will be back next week. We have one topic on this left on this list, so we will be talking about original IP next week because we are awash in remakes and reboots. We should take some time to highlight the new things that are so graciously gracing us.
Like Battlefield Hardline.
And
Call of
Shadow
Duty.
the Hedgehog.
Yes, so we shall see you there. Bye, everyone.
Good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.